Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking one of the most persistent, most elaborate stories in modern mythology, the Greada Treaty. It's a wild ride, so let's dive right in.
Okay, so the whole thing hinges on this one night, February 20th, 1954. President Eisenhower suddenly disappears. The official story? A chipped tooth, an emergency trip to a local dentist. Simple enough. But the alleged reality? Well, that's something else entirely. A secret meeting with two different alien races to decide the fate of all of us. I mean, the president was gone for so long that the Associated Press actually reported he had died. Was the dental story just a quick cover for something way, way bigger?
So, if it wasn't a dentist's chair, where was the president during those lost hours? Well, the story goes, his motorcade didn't go to a clinic. It secretly diverted from sunny Palm Springs to the high-security perimeter of Edwards Air Force Base, which was immediately put on a total lockdown. Inside one of those secure hangars, according to the legend, Eisenhower and this super-secret committee, you might have heard of them, Majestic 12, they weren't just looking at a UFO. They were holding a full-on diplomatic summit with the beings inside. Eyewitnesses later claimed the guards on patrol that night had no rank, no insignia, just anonymous soldiers protecting what was supposedly the most important meeting in all of human history. And here's where it gets even crazier. Inside that hangar, the president wasn't just meeting one alien species, he was meeting two. And they each gave him a conflicting offer, a choice that would supposedly set the course for humanity's future. He was literally at an extraterrestrial crossroads. So let's break down the choice he was facing, because it is stark. On one side, you have this benevolent-sounding species, the Nordics. Their offer? Spiritual and technological enlightenment. But there was a huge condition. Humanity had to get rid of its entire nuclear arsenal. On the other side, you have the Greys. Their offer was pure power, military supremacy, advanced weapons to win the Cold War. The price for that? Giving them secret access to abduct and experiment on human beings. You have to remember the context here. This is the height of the Cold War. The threat of Soviet nukes was very real. Disarmament probably sounded like national suicide. So Eisenhower allegedly chose power over peace. The Greada Treaty was sealed, and not with a handshake, but supposedly telepathically, mind to mind. The Greys got their secret underground bases and permission to conduct biological studies on humans, all in exchange for game-changing technology. The deal was done. But a secret of this magnitude, a deal that basically bartered away pieces of humanity, well, it's bound to leak, right? The entire foundation of this theory really rests on the testimony of two men who claimed they were on the inside and that they risked absolutely everything to get the truth out. I mean, listen to this chilling statement. This is from Phil Schneider, a geologist and engineer who said he physically helped build the secret underground bases for the Greys. He wasn't just worried he was in danger, he was broadcasting it. He was absolutely convinced that speaking out was a death sentence. And as you can see from this timeline, his fears, they seem tragically justified. In 1995, Schneider goes public. Less than a year later, he's found dead, strangled. But the official cause of death was suicide. Then, years later, another whistleblower, William Cooper, actually predicts a major false flag attack. Shortly after 9/11 happened, he was killed in a shootout with police. Two key witnesses, both silenced after they started talking. So what exactly were they claiming? Schneider said he was in an actual firefight between humans and Greys at a secret base in Dulce, New Mexico, where he saw vats filled with human body parts. Cooper, on the other hand, claimed he personally read the classified documents proving the treaty was real and that the Greys had broken the deal, badly. The abductions were happening way more than agreed upon. The whole thing had gone horribly wrong. Okay, this is an incredible story. It's got everything. High drama, conspiracy, tragedy. But let's take a step back from the legend for a second. What does the public record actually tell us? Let's scrutinize some of these claims. So let's start with that official cover story for the night of February 20th, 1954, the emergency dental visit. Now, the White House was very specific about it. They even gave the press the name of the dentist who supposedly treated the president. And this is where things get really weird for researchers. Dr. Francis Purcell was a real person, a real dentist in Palm Springs. But when investigators went to the Eisenhower Presidential Library, which keeps meticulous records of his health, they found nothing. Zero. No record of any dental work at all in February 1954. For people who believe the treaty is real, this isn't just a clerical error. It's a glaring red flag, a hole in the official story big enough to fly a saucer through.
All right, the next huge piece of evidence that proponents point to is the absolute explosion of technology that happened after 1954. The argument is pretty simple. The leap forward in things like computing and aerospace, it wasn't just natural innovation. It was proof of a technology exchange. Just think about the jump we made. Computers, fiber optics, stealth technology, night vision. Was this all just the natural outcome of a massive post-war investment in R&D? Or, as the theory claims, was this an unnatural acceleration? A technological jumpstart from an alien partner that just so happens to align perfectly with the timeline of this secret deal. Now, beyond the whistleblowers and the missing files, supporters point to two key documents from that era as sort of circumstantial evidence, little hints that the government was grappling with something massive behind the scenes. First up is something called the Brookings Report from 1960, commissioned by NASA itself. It literally considered the possibility of major social upheaval if humanity ever discovered intelligent alien life. It asked if our society could even survive the shock. So was this just a smart, hypothetical thought exercise for a brand new space agency? Or was the government already trying to figure out how to manage, and maybe suppress, a truth they were already sitting on? And finally, this brings us right back to the man at the center of it all, Eisenhower himself. In his famous farewell address, he warned the nation to guard against the unwarranted influence of the military-industrial complex. Now, for decades, we've seen this as just sage advice about defense spending, but proponents of the Greada Treaty, they hear something completely different. Was this a coded confession? A final, desperate warning from a president haunted by a secret, powerful deal he himself made in the desert? And that really gets us to the core dilemma of this whole incredible story. I mean, imagine being in Eisenhower's shoes at the absolute height of the Cold War. You're faced with that choice: power that guarantees your nation's survival versus trust in a peaceful path that risks everything. Which one would you choose? It's a profound question. And maybe, just maybe, it's why this story, whether it's fact or fiction, refuses to go away.